Okay, are we live? I think we are. Let me double check. We live? Live. We live?
I think we are.
Yeah, we are live. I'm sorry about that, guys. First time streaming on here, so I was just making sure that we were live. So yeah, um, let me just finish getting set up real quick. Okay. So again, I apologize. I didn't mean for. I knew it was a little bit longer. Like I said, this is my first time streaming on this channel, but I had to set up a few things, and I didn't realize it had already started. But I'll try to trim that out later. So, very interesting. The 2020 State of the Union address was very interesting. Um, I'd have to call it one of Trump's better speeches. And I don't mean it in a better way. I'm just saying one of his better State of the Union speeches. I think he did a good job. He really brought it home on the theme the theme in which he was trying to do. And let me see if I can find what they called it. The Great American Comeback. That's what it was. I couldn't remember right this second. So Trump really did a good job on the idea of the Great American Comeback. I think he really did a good job talking about not only what he's done and the good things he's done, but he's also focused on the future, past 2020. We all know that Trump's going to get reelected, but he's focusing on the future and what needs to happen to make sure and to guarantee that America continues to be great. I think he did a really, really good job on that. Um, so my other thoughts about the State of the Union, I thought the Democrats were just plain rude during the speech. I thought that was very inappropriate of Nancy Pelosi to uh, rip up Trump's speech at the end of his speech when he was finished. I thought I could tell from Nancy Pelosi's body language because she went to go do it, then the camera panned away from her, and then she waited till the camera got back. So it was a pre-orchestrated event. I could tell from the way they had planned to do that, and Nancy Pelosi, that was just very uncalled for and rude. I don't think any House Speaker, whether the president is in your party or not, I don't think that is very appropriate to rip up, the president's speech. I really do hope a lot of people saw that. I mean, that was a real childish act. And I really do hope a lot of people saw that and that has them thinking tonight, do I really want to vote for Nancy Pelosi, or do I really want to vote for the party of Nancy Pelosi? Just from how she orchestrated that, that was just very uncalled for, and I don't think it was very appropriate. Again, I thought one of the my favorite moments from the State of the Union was at the very beginning, before Trump even started talking. Um, he went or he was handing out the speeches to Mike Pence and Speaker Pelosi, and he went to hand it to Speaker Pelosi, and she took it and she went to reach for his hand to shake it, and Trump turned around. That was one of the more funnier moments because it was just funny the way it was orchestrated. Now, if Trump should have shook her hand or whatever, I mean, that's a question, up for debate. But I do think it was pretty funny. And it did set up the theme for tonight's State of the Union. One thing about tonight's State of the Union that I noticed, it was very noticeable how divided our country was. That was one thing I really did notice. I really noticed how divided our country was in this State of the Union. I think it's gotten progressively worse from the first time Trump did the State of the Union to the last time, or not the last time, but this time, excuse me. But I just think the divisions get the worst, and I'm not blaming it on Trump. I'm blaming it on the Democrats, and both sides have had some fault of creating division. And I'm not just blaming it all on the Democrats, but I think the Democrats have had a huge part of it just because of childish acts like we've seen tonight of Nancy Pelosi ripping up the speech. That was very uncalled for, and I don't think it was, like I said previously, I think it was uncalled for and it was not appropriate. But I could just, a lot of people could see, I'm not sure about you, but I saw how it reflected American society, how we are divided on some of these issues. Um, I noticed a lot of the things Nancy Pelosi was back there. She didn't make as many faces as she did last year. I'll give her that. But she still was. You could tell that she was not focused on the president, what he was doing. She had prioritized plans. She kept glancing at the Democrats to make sure they weren't doing anything they weren't supposed to. At one point, I did notice actually a few Democrats got up. I'm not sure if they were leaving, but I'm assuming they might have been leaving. Not 100% sure, but I saw Nancy Pelosi give them the evil eye. Could have been, could have not been. I'm not 100% sure. But I thought it was just very interesting how the State of the Union was orchestrated. It was very interesting, and I can't wait for next year's State of the Union after President Trump whoops the Democrats and they all have to go face them again. That's gonna be a very interesting one, and probably the Democrats won't even show up to that. But like people like AOC, and I wish I could pull up a real tweet real quick, but she said something that caught my attention. It was I wish I could pull up the tweet, but basically what she said, she was like, Trump's lawlessness has, and his crazy actions have caused me to decide not to go to the State of the Union. Well, oh well, ain't nobody gonna miss you, I'll tell you that. I sure didn't miss her. Did you? I didn't miss AOC in the audience. And it wouldn't have made any difference if she was there because all the other Democrats were they look lifeless. To put it frankly, they look lifeless. They hardly moved. They'll clap a little bit for some of the Trump's guests, and I could tell they didn't even want to stand up and clap for them either. And it was just ridiculous. They looked lifeless, and we're like, well, we didn't miss Nancy, or we didn't miss AOC, excuse me. Another highlight was Trump's guest. His guests were very, very interesting this year. One of my favorite parts was two of them that stood out to me. My two favorite parts were the first one was and I can't think of their name right this second, because there's a lot of stuff going on. But the Tuskegee Airmen, one of the last surviving members of the Tuskegee Airmen, he was 100 years old. If I remember correctly, he was rather 100 or 101. I couldn't remember. But he was honored along with his grandson, who, correct me if I'm wrong, he was 13 as well, I want to say. He was, I think it was his great-grandson who was interested in the Space Force, and his great-grandfather was one of the original Tuskegee Airmen. That was very interesting. I really did like that. Another huge one was Rush Limbaugh got awarded the medal, because I know, if you haven't known, recent days he came out and said that he had advanced, I believe it was lung cancer, and that was a huge thing right there that I really, really enjoyed as well. And one of the ones that stood out as well was when Trump reunited a family with her husband and their father, who was out on duty in the military, and I can't remember if it was where he was at, but he was back, and they reunited right there in front of millions of people at the State of the Union inside the Capitol. I thought that was very, very cool. I thought it was very sweet. It caused a lot of people to cry, and it had a really good reaction to it. and that was very, very good. And it touched a lot of heartstrings, or it pulled a lot of heartstrings. I thought it was very interesting, and I really enjoyed that part. That was probably one of my favorite parts, along with Rush and the other previous one I mentioned. There's a few others, but those were the three that stood out to me. But other than that, Trump's State of the Union address was very well orchestrated. He did focus a lot on the Great American Comeback, and he decried socialism, which is a huge step because, like I said, a lot of the socialist crazy tales are emerging, and they are trying. I just don't even know how to explain. They're just they are just losing their minds, and they're trying to take over American politics and bring socialism to the United States, which we all know is a bad idea. Um, and we don't we don't even know that we need to go there because we all know how bad socialism is. And so Trump attacked socialism, which was very good, and I'm glad he did that. But like I said, I'm really glad on his speech, really, how he focused not only on what he's done, but what he wants to do as well this coming year. He had a lot that he wanted to focus on this upcoming year. He doesn't want Congress to be what politicians refer to as a lame duck Congress. We've seen that, such as when after Bill Clinton was impeached in the '90s, the Congress pretty much turned into a lame duck. I don't think this will happen for President Trump. Um, I think that the only people we have to worry about is the House, but Senate will definitely get a lot of stuff done. And 2020, I really do hope, and I think we will, the Republicans will take back the House of Representatives, and we are going to get back on track of making America great again to the fullest extent with a full Republican-controlled House and Senate and White House. And we're going to get back to that position, and we are going to lay the hammer down and make sure that America is great to its fullest potential. Um, Trump really laid the hammer down today. He didn't touch on impeachment as much, which was, I think, a good thing, because I could tell if he decided to attack impeachment right there on the House floor, things would get a little hectic and out of control. It would evoke a lot of emotions out of people, and I think it's better for Trump to lay low on impeachment. But like I said, according to reports on the news and the media, that Trump is going to be acquitted tomorrow. They have all the votes they need to acquit Trump and to pretty much just end this whole impeachment sham. I think the best, and that reaction. Thank you so much for watching this stream, even if you're not watching live. I want you all for watching this video. It's going to be an interesting year, I can tell. Uh, Especially how this has been going on and everything. But I really hope that you guys stay tuned. I'm going to be doing some more videos like this, and I apologize if this stream is a little funny, because this one is the first one I've done on the channel. Excuse me, and there might be a few hiccups. In fact, I'm getting an error right now on my live stream thing, so hopefully there's not too many hiccups. I'll figure it out and learn from my mistakes on here, and we would and stuff. So we're just looking. We'll see. But yeah, guys. I know there seems to be a little bit of error going on with the stream, but I'm gonna go on and wrap it up here, guys. And if you haven't saw the State of the Union, I recommend you go look up the highlights. I did upload 2 videos on my channel with stuff that happened at the State of the Union. Trump dodging Nancy Pelosi's handshake, Nancy Pelosi ripping up his speech. They're not really high quality, just because they're a real fast blink. You'll miss some moments. So I recorded them on my phone through the with the television. So it was not the best recorded and not the best quality, but hopefully I can re-upload it later on with some better quality. But yeah, guys, I'm gonna go on and wrap it up here. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys all in my next video.